It's so for you. You. All right, y'all. I don't know if I'm live. I don't know if y'all can hear me. Let me tell you one thing about this stuff. I'm tired. I had a long day. So I don't even know how long this is going to go. I've changed this title several times because I'm not really sure what I should discuss, and because I've been getting different feedback. I'm not sure if this is a conversation primarily Black people are ready to have. So, for that reason and that reason solely, I'm just going to go with what God has laid on my heart. Um, as I always like to start or end our broadcast with a little devotion. Just because we don't do anything on our own, we need everything to be processed through a higher power. Whose higher power that is, that's between you and your God. I ain't got nothing to do with that, but I'm here to tell you what I do, and that is to be thankful and grateful. So, because from what I understand, today is December the 20th. I'm going to start with the word that says expectation of others. It is our job to identify our needs and then determine a balanced way of getting those needs met. We ultimately expect a higher power in the universe and not one particular person to be our source. And I ain't even read that today. Okay. It says it's unreasonable to expect anyone to be able or to be willing to meet our every request. We are responsible for asking for what we want and need. It is the other's responsibility to freely choose whether to or not to respond to our requests. If we choose to coerce or force another to be there with us, that's controlling. There's a difference between asking and demanding. We want love that is freely given. It is unreasonable and unhealthy to expect one person to be the source for meeting all of our needs. Ultimately, when we become angry and resentful, maybe even punishing towards that person for not supporting us as we expected. It is reasonable to have certain and well defined expectations of our spouse, children, and friends. And if a person can or will not be there for us, then we need to take responsibility for ourselves in that relationship. We may need to set a boundary, alter our expectations, or change the limits of the relationship that accommodate the person's unavailability to do so with ourselves. So it's a whole long thing. I've been going through a lot this week, and primarily this year because I've been trying to manifest some positive energy that has been trying to avoid my life and my family. So I figured it was time to start a conversation about why, continue the conversation about why I think Black women are so mean. Here's another thing, and I want to say this with as much disrespect as possible because people like to be disrespected. And it seems like that's when people respond when someone says something that they don't like versus something they do like. As much disrespect as possible. The reason why we're having a lot of issues with Black women being angry and mean, it's because they are abused. And when I say they are, I mean the Black women have been abused. They've been abused by partners, family members, friends, emotionally, financially, intimately, physically. And because of this situation, I feel like we are starting to see the results of ignoring a whole community of nurturers will leave you. When you forget to nurture the people who have nurtured you, you have left a space in a hole for it to be filled with something that may not necessarily be positive for you. So I want to bring this together without sounding so scary because People don't like to talk about stuff that they don't know. And I understand that because, who wants to be a part of a conversation and they're like, they don't have any information. So, with that being said, I'm going to start with my stats. And the first stat is I'm going to share my screen. Ready? So, while sharing my screen, I hope you can see this because, okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And right now, with the stats, okay, hold on. With the stats that I'm trying to provide to you, you should be able to see the statistics that explore our national domestic violence statistics. Okay, and when you look at this, mind you, this is a state by state statistic. So you're not just seeing information that's based on one person's feedback. You're seeing information from a entire community of countries within the United States, as we call them states, is pressed upon a person based on where they live. And the violence that I'm discussing today is, of course, primarily for my viewers, and that is Black women for educational purposes. We don't want to be ignorant to upload. Let me go back. And while we all know that ignorance is supposed to be bliss, right? But it's not going to be blissful if you're ignorant to the wrong thing. And while we all think, hey guys, we don't know some information. Okay, it's funny because we don't know no better, but once we learn better, we got to do better. Yes, we need to do better and we need to learn to do better faster than we wait. Why? Because we have a whole community full of people who have been deprived of love and respect. So they are teaching a whole set of another community and generation that it's okay to be deprived of love, touch, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. And without those, essentials, you still survive. That's incorrect. You may survive, but there's failure to thrive in those particular areas. So, okay, my stats are not pulling up for me right now. But let me see. Because, the devil is a liar. Always try to disengage what God tries to put together for someone. So, even if you're not able to, to get this stats, this specific information, all right. I don't know if I'm back. It looks like I am. Whatever. I was so confused today, but I'm really trying to put myself on the screen because I know I do a lot of videos that are about hair, and I feel like I have a lot more to say than just information that's related to hair. I do have a great set of hacks and things that I do share, and I feel like they have been going viral. So I do appreciate everyone who's taking a look at my content. I do believe that there's something important I need to share, and that is, the importance of educating our daughters about domestic violence and how it affects us in so many ways that we don't recognize. So, again, the whole Kiki Palmer situation really put me in a standstill and have to ask some tough questions to the people in my life and how to handle, you know, the trauma that follows once you've been in a relationship with someone who's been, physically violent, or you've had domestic disputes. So, um, this dream is supposed to be about when abusers tap and when the abusers protect the abusers. And I say that because the stats that I was planning to show won't appear here on my screen, but I'm going to read them off. And they start with, on an average, nearly 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner in the United States. And then it ends by saying during 1 year, this equates to more than 10 million women and men. Now, mind you, they didn't start out with men and then women because, it's typically like that. It's the easier way to, digest the stuff. We like to tell you that men are involved so then we can feel less isolated. No, I'm here for the women. Okay. So then when you go further to the next step, it says 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experience a severe intimate partner physical violence, intimate partner contact, FA violence, or some type of stalking with impacts such as injury, fearfulness, post-traumatic stress disorder, use of victim services, contraction of STDs, etc. That's a healthy statement. That's a lot of information. And that's something that we don't want to discuss, right? But who do we talk to about the reasons why Black women are angry or mean? We can't talk to our mothers if our mothers are victims of abuse or they protect the abusers. We can't talk to our fathers if our fathers are the abusers and they're the protectors of the abusers. We can't talk to our uncles or our aunties, especially if our uncles, if they are the abusers or the protectors of the abusers or the pedophilic abusers of that situation. So, and if you're an auntie who is being abused, and you know another auntie who's being abused and you used to just keeping your mouth closed, you're not going to say nothing, right? So because we don't talk about how domestic violence, it really assesses us as Black women in ways that white women are able to continue to move throughout life without being labeled as mean. When you're assaulted, there is so many different types of violence that comes along with it, right? You're not talking about just um, the physical. This stat right here that I was just reading says that the impact of intimate partner stalking with such as injury, fearfulness, and post-traumatic stress disorder is a symptom. And that's the part that I feel a lot of us don't want to talk about. How is it that we can ignore the physical violence? We can ignore the financial violence. We can ignore the emotional violence, but we forget to even discuss the fact that someone can stalk you, harass you, belittle you, um, berate you, and kill your self-esteem and put you further in the ground than where you started. And then you expect them to still thrive and move about life without any influence or improprieties. And I say that to say, um, when you hear the stats of 1 in 4 women are always assaulted, or not always, but when you hear the stats of 1 in 4 women have been assaulted or have experienced domestic violence, you don't realize how close and how small of a number that is until you're actually in front of the people. So, with that being said, it's a lot of noise going on in my house. I don't know what's going on right now. But when I need feel like I need to start this over because I don't feel like I'm in a mind place because like I was trying to be cute today and do my makeup and get dressed and all of that stuff. So I feel like people would really want to watch because my eyebrows weren't still ashy and they could read me. But sometimes God has other plans, and the whole purpose of this live today was for me to discuss the facts of when men don't pay child support and how it affects the family. But for whatever reason, this is the live that wanted to upload. And I'm struggling because I don't want to reveal too much of my personal life. However, I feel like it's my mission because I've been trying to address this domestic violence situation since I became the mother of a young daughter. But I was to a child at the time that I was her mother, right? I became her mom. So I didn't know what was involved, but I knew that the pain that I was experiencing was not necessary and was not vital or required in order to be her mother, right? So I had to realize I had to make a decision. Okay, do you stick around with somebody who's hurting you, or do you move on and proceed with your life without that person? Well, just because you move on, that doesn't mean that you're not still pained by the anguish and the experiences that you had with that person. And as much as you try to distance yourself from that person, remember you still have a child with them, right? In the situation that we're talking about with Kiki Palmer. Well, Kiki has money. She has lawyers. I'm pretty sure, Darius is so ghetto and ratchet. He don't have no fun. So she's going to be fine in that way. But we have to think about the underlying effects can you even hear me? Because oh my gosh, what's that? Oh my gosh, was I on mute the whole time?